big deals. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Just a lone support staff.
Hey, every company needs one.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy because I have my bachelor's. You still have to have a minimum of a bachelor's to do it's like why? Like,
yeah,
my bachelor's is in nursing.
Mm-hmm.
So
that didn't appeal to you?
Well, I've talked about it on the podcast before, because I got on drugs for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I've been off for 9 years. Actually almost 10.
Wow.
April will be 10.
Congratulations.
And I didn't start off. They got me. Like circumstances and music, just like a 3-4 year period. Well, he knew me then too. I was just.
We were roommates.
Whatever.
So this is Flagler Weekly, episode 34 actually, and today we have DJ Audie. I appreciate you coming through, and DJ Audie, from day one, I feel like you've been a supporter, and I appreciate you. What it seems like taking liking to what we have going on, and we just wanted to get a little bit of your story because we checked out some of your stuff. It said formerly of Surf FM. So who is DJ Audie?
DJ Audie is a kid from the Bronx, New York.
Yes.
Yeah, some people call it Boogie Town. It's not quite like that, but it stuck. I'm just an ordinary guy living in a beautiful slice of paradise, and this place has transformed me and allows me to do and be who I want to be. I'm a former account executive with Time Warner Cable in New York City, and lived in New York City most of my life, and it was starting to wear on me. So when I found Flagler Beach, it was magical. It really got my attention. It's a small town, beach, surf, fishing, and the kind of life I envisioned myself having. So I put my roots in.
What year was it that you came down here?
It's 2015. Yeah, I retired from Time Warner Cable in 2013. Went through some medical problems and issues. Got through them. I think Flagler Beach really helped me. I had prostate cancer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they wanted to just operate, and I said, guys, let's take baby steps. So I wanted to leave New York, found Flagler, and it was healing. It was a different lifestyle. There are things that you have to change, as we all know. But we learn from our mistakes and eat better, work out, hang around better people. And I found all of that here in Flagler Beach.
So with the name DJ Audie, it's funny because some people nowadays say DJ Khaled. So people are like, are you even a DJ? Or DJ Academic. So it's like, where'd you get your DJ name from?
From the station. The Surf 97.3 is a non-for-profit radio station here in Flagler Beach. And a slot became available, and they offered it to me. I had been doing some fundraising, if you will, for them because they are non-for-profit. And when a slot became available, all their DJs are DJs. So it was automatic. And DJ obviously means disc jockey. But there are no records involved. Everything's digital, everything's computer.
Pressing buttons.
Yeah, pressing buttons. But we gave a sense of 1960s, 1970s AM radio station. And we would play surf music, Beach Boys, Margaritaville, those kinds of things. But I threw in some metal.
Okay.
Just to spice it up, because we had a lot of folks that they do like the 60s and 70s music, but they were missing out on the Van Halens and the Led Zeppelins. And so I added that little touch. I got scolded a few times.
How do you feel about the radio world versus the podcast world? Do you feel like it's taking over? Do you feel like radio's dying?
No, not at all. I think podcast is the new creature on the block. So there's room for both. And at one point, radio has become not as personal as as it used to be. Now you record stuff, you press buttons. There is no warm, fuzzy feeling.
I like the call-ins and
And,
stuff like that.
and that's one thing that I did was all the on-air DJs, would do a call-in, and that makes it interpersonal. And I was amazed that people from France were calling. I was like, how did they know us? Well, it turns out that Flagler is a tourist town.
Oh,
So a lot of people visiting would hear us here locally, and they go back to wherever they came from, and they call in.
Wow.
And like, holy, this is
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah. So, but I think there's room for. I don't think radio's dead at all. It just has changed from the I'm a '60s kid, so it's not the same thing, but it's still a powerful tool.
It has its own lane.
It has its own lane, exactly. And podcasts are only going to flourish and get bigger.
One second. You mentioned your job in New York, and you moved down here.
Yeah.
What's your take? Because this is no secret that a lot of people are like go home New Yorkers. I mean, have you ever felt that vibe? Or
I was born in New York too.
Even though it's like Palm Coast is like a little New York anyway.
Yeah.
But you see it online and stuff like that. Everybody's coming down here. How is that? Has that been a thing, or
it's a joke?
It's just a joke, right?
It's just a joke.
Okay.
To me, I don't take that stuff seriously. Yes, there are a lot of people from New York area, and I've met more people from the Bronx, where I'm from, down here, and I'm going, how did you find out about this place? But it's kind of interesting that people from up north come down here for the sun in the wintertime, and then eventually move here. I have about 20 colleagues from Time Warner Cable that live here in Florida.
Wow.
Now. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's kind of cool. So we're going to have a Time Warner Cable reunion down here.
Awesome.
But you know what? As long as they don't want to bring their problems from here to here.
Their voting.
Yeah, they're voting ways too. That's another conversation.
I think that's what a lot of people's concerns are.
Yes.
It's like you vote this way, you get these people in office, then you don't like what they do, then you move, but you still keep your ideologies, and then you want this place to be like where your place is.
Right, you might as well stay.
And then now this place, all these things and this, but...
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Floridian. Like I was born in Florida.
Oh Lord! You're not born in Palm Coast, so you're not from Flagler County.
I'm from Central Florida.
All right.
I've lived in Flagler County longer than you.
But I also lived in the city also for a little while. I worked at Beth Israel Hospital for a while.
Okay.
You said in the city?
In the city.
Yeah, the city.
What city?
New York City. Yeah.
Oh, okay. The city.
This is like the city.
Look at you New Yorker.
He's the same city.
He's a New Yorker.
But yeah, it is stressful living up there.
You've lived in New York longer than I have. I lived there for a year and a half.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, like you said, because when I lived up there, catching the subway, walking everywhere, you're always late. It's a grind living up there, and it's really stressful. I felt like even doing basic tasks like
shopping,
getting your cable cut on, this and that. It's like you got to go there, you got to jump on the train. If it's not a place that's by the train, it sucks. And you got to walk that far. It's just
well, it's a place that you love, but you hate it at the same time.
Yeah, it's great, but it's stressful.
It can be, and that's the thing that I didn't want to affect me. I dealt with living in the big city, going into Manhattan every day, being in the subways and the grind and what have you. And I saw people were kind of getting used to it, so they became like little zombies. They tuned everything out. They just did their thing, and the life was sucked out of them. And I didn't want that to happen to me. So
I feel that.
Yeah.
Plus, it's the winter is gray, and it's just it drains you.
Yeah, the snow is pretty, only for a day. That's it. And that's one thing I don't miss is the shoveling of the snow and the cold. Yeah, I could do without that. And I like wearing shorts and flip-flops in the wintertime here in Flagler.
My primary thing is just flip flops,
Mm-hmm.
beach shorts is great.
Yeah, it sure
and it's
is.
acceptable because it's like if you're in a normal town, you're like wearing, you dress like I'm dressed right now, like saying the city, like so this guy,
Yeah, right.
But here it's like it's just, I can go into the fanciest restaurant in Flagler dressed like this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just fine.
That's right.
Yeah.
So a question I wanted Dave to re-ask is about how they keep track of analytics on the radio and stuff. So ask what you're going to ask.
Well, just how did the radio station know how many people are listening? Because when we do a podcast, we know exactly who liked it, who viewed it, how long they viewed it,
Yeah.
and like if you're just putting it out, like
It's the same thing. They the way they do it is by a census. So if Flagler Beach has 100,000 residents, a radio station that transmits over the air, they don't know who's listening and who's not. They just basically, we can reach 100,000 people. But like you guys, they can track, who's watching, who's listening, and that's it. It's a no-brainer. So you really don't know who's listening until you start getting responses, you start getting emails and calls, and that's something that you should put out there to the public, that they can contact you, at such and such email, and if you have any ideas
it's just like an estimate based on.
Yeah.
See, I remember in one movie I was watching, and the guy was like, over 3,000 people have reached out in my defense, and he's like, he got 3 letters. He's like, well, every letter is 1,000 people. Is that true? Like,
yeah, that's what they do.
Okay, so every response is like a set number of
It's
people.
like a set number of people.
That makes
Okay.
sense.
Yep.
I mean, because we kind of do the same thing. I tell him, I'm like, Dave, if you notice, like, we'll get like 5,000 views, but then we'll get like 5 comments. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people watch, but not a lot of people are engaged. But if you get like good engagement, then that means that you have a lot of people watching. You know what I mean? And that's good for advertisement. A question that, now that we get to know you a little bit more and we know your background and stuff like that, and I feel like you're kind of like me in that aspect where you're like, let me watch these guys for a little bit. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, I like what they're doing and stuff, but like in your experience and working for Time Warner, what advice just watching might you have for us? Like, I'd like to hear some constructive criticism from somebody who actually, what I always tell him, who actually has some skin in the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I tell him, not about him, but what other people, I'm like, oh, what podcasts do they have? You know what I mean? Or have they been on the radio? You know what I mean? But I'm interested to hear what you think.
My advice is stay true to yourselves. Continue doing what you're doing. Everything has to start somewhere, and then you will learn from each other, and you'll create what's unique to you guys. And it doesn't matter what anybody says or any even bad criticism can be good. But you guys have a dream. You're putting it together, and that's a start. And it can only get better. The only thing that could go wrong is if you decide to stop doing this, and that would be a shame, because right now, podcasting is a very popular means of getting the word out, where you can just hit a button and listen to a previous show, or get information on what's going on, and more of that has to flourish here in Flagler Beach.
Yeah, I've heard some other people say that they're starting at 1, and I'm actually excited. 1, I like listening to podcasts, and 2, I want us to like sometimes they come on here, we go on their podcast, you know what I mean, stuff, so we can like mix fans and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's a way of promoting yourselves, is by engaging with other folks that are doing this.
Yeah, for sure.
See, like the Flagler Beach commercial radio station, they're unto themselves. They're a multi-million-dollar company. They own 7 radio stations up and down the coast here, from St. Augustine down to Daytona, and they do a lot of community commercials, but they really don't interact. Where the podcast folks, the non-for-profit folks, they have more skin in the game.
Yeah.
And they seem to be more caring. And that's one thing that when I was on the air, I had been on the Surf 97.3 for 3.5 years, and part of my thing was to stay on top of events that were going on in the neighborhood and announce them. They didn't have to be giving us money. So if there was a church cake sale, if there was a car wash, if there was a networking thing, they just let me know a week in advance and make it a part of my show to update folks on what's going on in the neighborhood. Because a lot of that gets lost in the sauce. I know when I first got here, I didn't know how to get information. But eventually you start picking up the penny saver, you get the local newspapers, you listen to the radio stations here. Then I started to formulate an idea for myself to get the word out.
Yeah, that's kind of what got us started a lot. Like, something would happen, like, where did you hear about it at? We didn't hear about it. Why not? So we got to get it out. And like, I feel like the people that do get stuff out now are kind of like in an echo chamber. It's all the same people that have been doing stuff, the same people listen to it. And that's in our lane. We're trying to really get to the other people also who, are maybe new or not.
Yeah, I just feel like Flagler Weekly, with the name and the platform and like us being on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, like the average person in Flagler County can get the information. Like, let's say we were talking to son, we were in the car, and I think like his phone died or something like that, but we were playing music on it, and I was like, well, little Dave, turn on the radio. He's like, we were playing the radio. I was like, no, turn on like the AM FM channel. He was like, why would I do that? He's like, what are we going to do on that? You know what? I was like, whoa. But, you know what I mean? So when we were thinking about it, when he was asking that question, I was like, do you see the emails coming less? Because I imagine like, even like, I don't want to say my car doesn't come with the AM FM station. It does, but it comes with like an aux cord for my phone. So there's no excuse. My car is Bluetooth. My phone's Bluetooth. Boom. You know what I mean? Yep. And it's like, do you listen to the radio on the way here, or were you listening to something on your phone?
I do a little of both.
So you got to think that, like, with Baby Go, I mean, he's 16. Like, I feel like that whole.
I'm wondering, when is it? Because like, I listen to this is the thing. I Uber too, so like when I'm listening to a podcast and it might be inappropriate, I'll put my headphone in and I'll put the radio on and just let it because it's like it's appropriate music. People can put their kids in the car. Right. It's gonna play like some Christmas songs. People put some, you know what I mean, like rock and roll songs, whatever. So that is what I like about the radio. So I definitely still use it, but like for my personal, I don't listen to the radio just because. I hate how the same songs play over and over again. It's like the same 10 songs. Right. That's just the hip hop stations. No,
I feel like the rock stations are kind of the same. Like, if it's a Pink Floyd song, it's going to be one of the 4 Pink Floyd songs they play. Why is that? Is it the most popular, or
because it's popular?
Yeah.
The top 100, top 50.
That's exactly it. And I did a short stint at MTV in the day when. Video. Yeah. And part of my job then, I was an intern. I was in college. I was interning there, and they let me work with the programming guy. And even though MTV was fairly new, they were playing the same videos over and over again, and it was making me ill. I was like, why?
Programming.
It's programming. Exactly. That's what they were doing, was programming their listeners. And I kind of understood the purpose, but it just, like, whenever I turned on MTV, I didn't want to hear the same music or see the same video over and over again. But when I was inside, it was like, wow, this is programming. And but anyway, you see where MTV went.
That's why, like, for our thing, kind of like what Dave was saying is, yeah, it's like we are now the people putting out the program, but not only do we want to bring, like, say, business people on, but we want to bring people in the community on to, like, either express their concern, like, I don't want to use the word of average people, but the everyday 9 to 5 working person, you know what I mean, might just be like, yeah, come on, let's talk, let's just have a conversation, you know what I mean, like, and I feel like a lot of that kind of gets lost in mainstream media and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
And it's definitely hard to do with sponsorships, especially if, say, one of those sponsors is in the news for something crazy, you know. But it's like,
well, you know what? Just keep on keeping on. You know, and you'll make your own changes. You'll know, again, from your intuition or from the feedback that you get from the community. You know, there is no, this is how it has to be, because if you do it that way, you're going to be as bland as everybody else.
That's true.
And you don't want to be cookie cutter.
Right.
That's what he was saying from the beginning. Because I know, John, we need to be like this. We need to do this. He's like,
everybody else is already doing it. Like, you're telling us to be just like everybody else.
Right, exactly. So, you know, do what makes you guys stand out and makes you different.
It's what I like to call guerrilla news fan. Because it's like Tommy Tan's going on. We're about to go out there with a camera after this and like come out there with a mic, and like I don't see a lot of other news people like out there interviewing professional surfers. You know what I mean? Or just people in the community going to businesses and stuff like that. So I was like, I want to see this. You know what I mean? And I guess we just have to do it.
Yeah.
Realistically, too, like we're the only people that are videoing things around here, really.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody really except
I see
for
like blogs and stuff like that.
Yeah. But definitely you guys are on to something that other people have given up on. So right now,
and we want to do it with, like you said, we want to do it with these people, and you know, we would appreciate you know, like you said, talking to some people, but it's funny because I'm sure you can understand, especially being from New York. It's like, especially in New York, it's like there's the radio stations, and it's like me in the Bronx. You know what I mean? So it's like it's me in the B section. It's like they're not going to talk to me. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, I don't blame them or anything. We're just two guys, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like we're starting to gain traction and stuff, and we would like to work with them and stuff like that, and maybe reach an even bigger, because I feel like one thing that we can bring to some of these places is like the young aspect of it. You know what I mean? Like, there's a couple things that these channels could do to really like rev things up. You know?
Not doing it.
And like, you know, we just feel like there's some people, they even have like really big followings, you know? And I'll give you an example. This is something I've been telling Dave that we're going to do next year. Because this is like our first year, you know, we're like, we're going to like, I'm going to write down a script, and we're just going to shoot like little like episode-esque type thing. Like, let's say like, it'll be like a short movie or like a TV series, and like people will just watch it on Facebook, you know. But me and him are gonna be like cops, you know what I mean, in Flagler Beach,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be a rookie cop, he's gonna be like the older cop, you know what I mean, stuff like that.
Okay.
And so we're gonna bring in like scripted movie type series type thing. It's like, man, these people, like, they could do that, and they could like, it could be great, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I guess people. You know,
well, it's like who are they like talking to? Is the thing, because you know, like we noticed too that like from like what do you say, like 35 and up, they're all on Facebook. Below that, then they're on Instagram, and below that, they're like on TikTok, Snapchat. So
the funny thing is, he got Facebook, I run the Instagram, and he runs the TikTok.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're trying.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And we're like, hey, how do we go viral on TikTok? It's like, I don't know. He knows. You know what I mean? Like, you do that. I got the Instagram. He's on the Facebook.
Yeah, and that's the way you have to be, a well-oiled machine. You focusing on what you do best and what works for you.
Exactly.
And it's like a baseball team. The pitcher can't be the left fielder, you know?
You're backing up what I always say. He's like, you do some technical work. I'm like, no, I'm not the technical guy.
I hate when you say this. I have to back myself up. Because it's like Dave, on-air talent. It's like John, social media manager, graphic designer, audio guy, tech guy, computer guy, going up to his sponsorship guy. He's like, John, that's what you're good at. I'm like, what are you good at?
We gotta find our strengths. That's right.
Well, actually, that could work to your benefit.
I think so, but maybe when like the money starts coming in, but I'm starting to get a little tired.
I understand. So what you need to do is
yeah. Thank you. But what I will give to Dave is, as of recently, he is like our research guy. Like, he will definitely, he's like, did you know this and this and this? Or like, I didn't. You know what I mean? He's like, John, you add these people, you talk to these people, you like set up an interview. It's like, you don't know that much about them. I'm like, I'm trying to get to know them. You know what I mean? I was like, I know a little bit about them and stuff like that, but I was like, how do you even find this information? He's like, Facebook.
Yeah, there's a lot of information there.
Man, so that's funny. But so you say formally, are you like? Let me ask you this: could we possibly get like a DJ Audie segment on Flagler Weekly, like once a month or something like that? Like, you know,
hey, all we have to do is talk.
Yes,
that's all we have to do.
Yes.
The reason for the formally is that I had a following. And when I wasn't there anymore, it was like, what happened? Where'd he go? So I decided to keep the station, plugging them, you know, which is what I don't burn bridges, and to let them know that I'm the guy that they were listening to at that time, that they could interact with me personally and what have you. And I find that has worked, as opposed to just having, I do have a personal Facebook page, but I kept that one because a lot of folks wanted to interview me, have me on their podcast, or talk about music and music history and all those kinds of things. So I figured, let me keep both, but also let the station know that I missed.
Gotcha. So when you were on the radio, it was like, so you would play the music, but in between you'd be like on air talent, or like I know they say like a DJ, but you guys would do a lot of talking and like filling in space. I'm like, all right, guys, that was the last song. Oh, hey, Dave, so did you hear about
well,
do you guys have a script of what to say? Or?
No, we don't have a script. What we do have is these sponsorship ads, I'll call them, for lack of a better word, where people who support us financially, we will promote their business, and that's probably the only thing that would be formal. There were times where we had to do the news, we would do the weather, and again, we were left to our own means. Everybody has a different personality, so you let yourself shine however you feel you can communicate. And I was just, as I was saying earlier, I would bring in the heavy metal, not really heavy metal, but heavy rock and roll, and their format is mostly reggae music, beach music, and so since I was only on one show a week for 3 hours, I figured less talking, let me talk to the community and let them know that they can call me, make requests, they can let me know what's going on in the neighborhood. And pretty much just kept it casual. And the worst thing you can do is try to sound like those guys on professional radio. No, it's like, no, just even folks who don't, who are shy, have a voice. And as long as you're willing to get behind the mic, you've broken the ice, and now look where you are now. Yeah.
From episode 1 to now, it's definitely way better.
Way
but it's
better.
always like crazy though, when the mic comes on and the camera comes on, it's just like, man.
Yeah.
You know it's different. Because like, our conversation before the camera went on was way more free-flowing, even though it's going well now. But even then before, it was just normal.
Yeah.
So you said before, when we were talking before, that you were always like a behind-the-scenes guy.
Yeah.
So when you got on the mic, was it natural, or did you have an issue with it, or did it just take right off?
I was concerned about flow. I didn't want to come off as I wasn't prepared, or I didn't know what I was talking about. So I took to heart that I'm going to just talk to you. I'm just going to talk plainly to you. You call me up with a request. from that request, I'll either know the band, know the song, put a little story to it, and just made it conversational. I would want to sound like the way I would want to listen to someone. When I listen to somebody, they're speaking to me from the heart, and that's what I found came very natural. Just talking from the heart, being plain and simple. Don't make it complicated, and don't BS because they'll know. They will know. And if you do BS, you better back it up.
That's real.
So that's funny you said that, because like you said, you don't want to seem like you're unprepared. I feel like that's why I always like do like, because he'll just go talk to you or whatever. And like, I don't really want to, and I'm all like, oh, I should know what I'm talking about. And like, so that makes sense. Like,
yeah, but and everyone has their own. If you guys were the same, one of you is redundant.
Yeah.
So you have your personality, you have yours, I have mine, and we kind of mix it up. And that's the beauty of what you guys are doing, is that you make it just natural, common, and nothing. You don't need a degree to understand what's going on.
Yeah. And it's funny because I feel like so. One of our logos we're about to come out with is a yin yang symbol, but like on say the white side, I'm gonna be a face inside of it, and on the black side, he's gonna be a face inside of it. But there's like almost, I don't say like a deeper meaning to it, but like I feel like he might have had like a little rougher growing up, like I'm from like the B section, the suburbs, you know what I mean? But it's funny because like he's more leaning on the right side, more leaning on the left side. We're almost like oxymorons, but we grew up together. He's like my older brother, so we work real well together. We even had a fight on one episode.
I missed that one.
Yeah, this expert.
Yeah, she was like, "Are you guys okay? Like, are you really mad at me?" I was like, "No, we're not really mad at each other." I was like, "I don't care," but I was like, "He is annoying." But like you said, I like it's the similarities, but you could tell that we're like genuine, you know what I mean? Yeah. And like you said, we're not like above anyone or anything. We're just two guys, you know what I mean? Right. Like, this is what's going on in Flagler County.
Exactly. Exactly. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah. So a couple things going on in Flagler County. Do you live in Palm Coast or Flagler Beach? Or?
I'm Flagler Beach.
Okay, Flagler Beach resident. How do you feel about like the erosion thing that goes on and like the see, this is what we do. We kind of talk about local topics. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, man, it's funny. I'm gonna tell you guys. I'm also friends with some. I don't want to say the guys who do that specific one, but dudes who have those machinery that like push the sand back up. And he like, I'll see the hashtag on his Instagram will say like job security. And I'm like, bro, like, this thing I washed away, he just pushes it back up. I'm like, what is your job? What do you know what I mean? It's like, what are we doing? Yeah. But it's like, what are our options? If we don't do anything, is it just going to keep eroding into our street and stuff? Or
well, that's the point. Is that a lot of folks are upset that they're losing their beach, but they have to realize
it's not their beach. Sorry,
it's all our beaches. We're sons of beaches,
right? But it's like the beach is here. We just built on it,
right?
If it goes, it just goes.
It goes, and that's how I feel. Is that they're making a bigger issue of it, and they're emotionally tied to the beach. I heard a lady say the other day, 30 years ago, the beach went out for 2 miles, and now it's 20 feet.
That should be a sign.
It should be a sign. But she wanted to move out of Flagler Beach because that her beach wasn't there anymore. And I was like, lady, nature has been doing its thing for centuries.
Not talking about that lady, but that's almost like a fair weather fan. Like, you come for a nice beach? Oh, no beach, I'm out of here. Like,
Well, good. More beach for me.
Yeah.
But I don't take this stuff very seriously. It's just, they have their right to their opinion. But whether the beach is there or not, I'm in Flagler, and I know that there are hurricanes that come and tornadoes and all of that. I'm as prepared as I can be. Yeah. And that's all you can do is just be prepared. The old Boy Scout motto.
Yeah. How do you feel about 4th of July, like moving from the pier to the airport?
Well, there is no pier now.
Valid.
Because you know what? back in the day, like going to Flagler Beach here on 4th of July, it was like a enormous event. Like people were there all day. You'd get here in the morning, and it was just like you were here all day. Everybody's families were here all day.
I think that was before social media.
That
Now I think
vibe's
about
like
it.
been gone for a while. I feel like even maybe from before COVID, that vibe was gone. So it's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, it is unfortunate because I understand as long as the pier has been there, there's always been a 4th of July fireworks going on.
Because it's like, I feel like you almost, if you wanted to see people, you had to go to 4th of July because your phone, you couldn't see anything going on. You had to like go meet.
Yeah.
Oh, what are we doing? You start off there, then we go do other things and stuff like that. But now you can just be like, hey, come over to my crib, or oh, the party's here tonight. I'm not even going to go to the beach today.
Right.
When you had to go there to even find where the party was going to be at that night.
Right. Well, the community has to do what it feels is best. One of the things that I heard a couple of years ago was that the 4th of July pier fireworks turned into a fire police hazard where hundreds and thousands of people would come to the beach and it would cost the town hundreds of thousands of dollars just to clean up afterwards. And
We need to get that job. we have a junk removal business.
there you go. There you
I'll
go.
do it for $80,000.
There you go.
Yeah, my stepdad was saying that the other day, actually, about like the police coming there, and it was just. There's also too. There's no social media, so like when a lot of people come there, they're going to be drinking, and people are going to run into each other. Also, because there was like I don't want to say a lot of fights, but that was definitely.
You have beef throughout the year. You're going to see
That was tough.
it.
It's going to catch up on 4th of July in Miami Beach.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm happy that somebody's doing something in the area.
Okay.
It's too bad that it can't be at the pier. When I first got here, that was special. That was a very special time for me. And then when it stopped, I would just find out, is Daytona doing something? Is St. Augustine doing something? And it turns out that they did. So I had options. Too bad it wasn't in my own, my backyard. But
I've heard some people like Flagler Beach people saying, "Oh, I'm not going over the bridge." You know what I mean? To go like over the bridge.
Don't take us across the bridge, John.
Oh, with those people. That's funny.
Yeah. But all in all, Flagler Beach is still a place where you can have a decent living, and the crime here,
0 to 9.
0 to none. Yeah, if you left your keys in the car and your windows open, that's your fault.
And it may be. I've left my keys in my car in Flagler Beach sometimes. Like my door's unlocked. I'm like, "Ooh, I'm glad I'm in Flagler Beach."
Yeah.
Because even in Palm Coast that's a death wish.
Yeah, it is. It's better to be safe than sorry. Because nowhere is 100% safe.
That's true.
But we're close to it.
Well, being that you're from New York and like this is the opposite chill thing, how do you feel about the new building that's coming up?
Hotel?
Yeah.
Not opposed to it. I was hoping that they would design it in the style of the hotel that was there before. That would have been cool, kind of a historic look. What I saw on the drafts, not too bad. It's not like super futuristic, which would not fit in the area. Like that old bank across from the pier, that brown box. Whoever let that thing?
You were just talking about that. You're like, this is supposed to be multiple different buildings, like that building you were talking about.
Yeah. Because, I lived in St. Pete for like 7 years before. I've only been back in Palm Coast or Flagler County for, I guess, almost 3 years now. I was gone for like 7 years in St. Pete. And there were some businesses that were like, kind of like that. And somebody just leased that out and turned it into 15 little businesses, almost like a mini flea market inside, like a bazaar. So I think that would be great for that.
Well, there have been a couple of offers, from what I understand, to make it even to a hotel. A little mini hotel or a motel or something.
We should do something with that building.
Yeah, I would like to knock it down.
It is a big
eyesore.
It doesn't fit into the ambiance, if you will.
But it's just crazy because that bank's been there forever.
Yeah.
It's kind of sound like oxymoron because it is the ambiance, even though it doesn't fit in with the ambiance.
Right. Well, because no one knows what to do.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Interesting. I wonder if we turn it into like a nightclub or something like that. It's right down. It's right downtown.
They don't like that. I don't know if you remember, like a long time ago, like they had they tried to do like a gentleman's club.
Oh, really?
That's a little bit different. That's
Hollywoods, and they wanted on the beach, and it was like huge thing, and that may have been like 15 years ago or so. And they weren't going for that. Like the traffic at nighttime, they didn't like it.
Right.
So I don't know if Flagler would be too cool with something like that.
Yeah. I think the nightclub idea, it doesn't really fit in. Because I think you have Finns and you have Tortugas where they have music outside and they go from Latin music to disco music to rock and roll and kind of like that vibe.
And if you think about it too, Tortugas isn't even open late night. They close down earlier. The people go to Finns after that for like the club or band vibe, whatever. Like they have that more in the afternoon, evening, and then they're like, all right, we're going home. Yeah. I think that's like how the business flows in Flagler Beach also. Because remember we were walking down the other day, like over, like the art center is across from the city hall or whatever. It's all shut down in the afternoon. And I'm like, why? This would be like, where's the evening coffee shop? Isn't that? But I think like maybe just the flow of business doesn't dictate them being open at that time.
Right.
Which is, it is what it is.
It is what it is, exactly.
So.
I mean, because the idea that in New York, everything's open 24/7, 7 days a week. Down here, it's a little bit different, and I noticed that a lot of the businesses will take off a couple of days during the week, and that kind of upsets my flow because if I'm in the mood for this fish or that burger, and they're closed, you got to start from scratch
Not on
again.
Tuesday.
But again, it could be worse. It could be worse. Yeah. Do we need more business? I think what will happen when the hotel comes in, that's going to draw people in, and then you'll see that places are going to be open at night where a lot of businesses...
where the tourists can go stay there and go to the businesses.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all in all, I just don't want to see Flagler Beach turn into a Daytona.
Wow, I just thought about
Clearwater. You been to Clearwater Beach before?
Yes.
I mean, that's just like this is high buildings going on. It's like a mini city on an island.
I just thought about that. Like, wow, that's a place where tourists can go and stay. Because right now, you have a lot of these like older hotels and stuff, but they're kind of, you know what I mean? But if this is like a nice hotel that's like, say, 200 a night, like people are going to be coming.
Oh, yeah.
Like celebrities and stuff like
I
there's a lot of celebrities that are coming and,
I think so.
it's like, where do they really stay? Man. I thought you were about to say something right there.
Well, I think a lot of people like that slow vibe of here. I was out one day and I was talking to these people and they were like, oh, I was like, well, how did you know about Flagler County? Like, why did you come, or Flagler Beach? And he was like, well, my family went to Daytona for years and they just got so busy and kind of cracky over there. He's like, we found out that we just prefer coming here and taking it easy.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to, but then I also just recently really realized how popular Flagler Beach is like kind of a tourist spot. There's a lot more than you think it is.
Yep.
Like you're coming here constantly all the time.
Yep.
People from other countries and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yep.
like regularly, yeah.
Yep. When I first discovered Flagler Beach, it was still quieter than it is now. Not that it's not rowdy in any way, shape, or form, but it was like I think somebody called it Mayberry. It's just a little bump town. And then one day I'm watching television, and one of the local news stations was doing a story on Florida on a tank of gas.
Okay, I've seen that one. Yeah, Florida on a tank full.
Yeah, that's and then Flagler Beach all of a sudden was on the news. Now this station goes to thousands and thousands and thousands of people. I said, oh no, they're going to come. So I noticed that there were a lot of lots along A1A that were available for under $100,000. Now, no, ain't happening.
No.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
I asked him how much for a lot. He's like, a lot. I said, good. 100 grand? He's like, you'd be lucky to get it for 100 grand. That's crazy.
Yep. Yeah, but I'm glad I bought when I did because I avoided the
Awesome.
the increase.
Let me ask you this: like, so you have insurance on your house or no?
I do. I bought.
So it's not in a flood zone.
It is in the flood zone.
Okay, so that's not true that like none of these houses are insurable in Flagler Beach.
No.
Okay. Because we were kind of speculating that there's a lot of houses that could be flipped around here, and I'm like, why is nobody flipping any of these houses? And then I was hearing that like, oh, well, you can't get a house insured over here at Flagler, so you're not going to get a mortgage on something that you can't get insured.
Right.
So that's why we're stopping the progress.
You're just going to pay a higher premium.
Okay, so it's still available.
So it's available, but not to the extent that you would like. It's not 100%,
Okay.
but at least if your home should get flooded, you'll have enough to kind of do 75% of the work, and then the rest is out of pocket.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, then why nobody's flipping these houses? On the street alone, it's like some of the things are kind of run down. There's opportunities there.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money on the table, but I think people are afraid because of the insurance. They hear these stories. If you, like you said, if you don't do the research, you're not going to find out, what the real deal is.
Yeah.
So, but that could be to your advantage.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah, it all starts with one.
So, how often do you go back to New York?
I don't.
I hear you on that.
Not unless there's a funeral or a wedding or something really, really important that commands my presence. But I don't go back. I haven't been back in about 4 years.
What is your ethnicity? Were you born in New York? Or?
I was born in Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay.
And my background is I'm Puerto Rican.
Okay.
Mom and dad both from Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And they all, our entire family was pretty much up in the Bronx. And then later on, people started moving down here to Florida and going back to Puerto Rico. But and I've been to Puerto Rico a few times. But I love Flagler.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Do you see, like, obviously the migration, but do you see this place turning into like a New York, or do you, some people say that is going to happen, but are you concerned about that too much? Or?
Not at all. Not at all. I think that if they're going to come, they're going to come.
It's kind of inevitable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's inevitable. You can't prevent anybody from moving in. But as we were chatting earlier, it's don't bring your, what you had up there down here. Just, you came here for a reason.
Yeah.
I came here for ocean, beach, sun.
Relax.
And relax.
Them not as much in your business and stuff like that.
Right, exactly. So people the sky is falling. I think they're bored and afraid. Yeah, you don't want to see your quaint little neighborhood change overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. And the folks that have the biggest problem are the folks that have been here the longest. Like I know people that have been here since the 70s or 60s, and they go, Flagler Beach is out of control. That's because they're just used to seeing 5 people walk on the street, and a motorcycle. I mean, I love the fact that we're a 2 street light town. I love that.
This is a question that I've been wanting to kind of implement and kind of have maybe like a little segment on the show or whatever. But what is, and this is all of Flagler County, what is your favorite local restaurant?
Oh, jeez. I'm gonna sidestep that one.
Okay.
Because when I first got here, I'm gonna say I was a food snob. New York has the best of everything. And coming down here, I thought the food was bland. Every week I would go to 1 or 2 restaurants just to try out. I said, I am not going to be happy here. So,
that's interesting.
Yeah, and people were telling me, well, if you don't like the food here, go to Daytona, Orlando, Miami, and
that's a far drive for some food.
It is a far drive. But what started to happen was there was a transition going on, and I don't know why or what caused it, but all of a sudden the food got better. It was a little bit more tastier.
More New Yorkers moved down.
Maybe it is. Don't let me know. I don't want to know. But the quality of the food has gotten so much better. It's very rare that I have a bad meal these days. Now, I could tell you what my top 5 restaurants are.
Okay, the thing is, like, I felt like, obviously, I feel like if you might have said like one, but top 5 is though too. I didn't want to like leave too many out. But if you just said one, people understand. You know, like I'd say, let me go first.
Okay.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're thinking, whether you say it or not.
China One.
Yeah.
China One. China One is the greatest restaurant in Flagler County.
Okay.
Not too sad. But it's the Chinese food by Winixie. But if we're talking about an actual restaurant, like I might go with like Terra Nova's. I think I'm gonna say, you know what I mean? That's like, if it's somewhere I'm telling somebody I want to like go, you know, like, you know, even like, let's throw like Bantam Chef in there, you know, but like, I might go there today. Not just and you get it, but China One is the greatest, and I just love Chinese food overall, personally. A lot of people don't look because you can't like sit down and stuff like that, but maybe Dave, what do you got?
Well, I don't know which one, because I like a lot of places. But I will say that on my birthday we went to Hijackers, and that was really good. That was a nice meal.
What is it called? Airport Strip or something
No,
like that?
no, that's the Hijackers. I meant the one
On
in South Flagler there.
Hijackers.
Hijackers, not
No.
TJ's?
I can't think of it.
TJ's?
No. Oh gosh.
The one that's right there before the curve?
Right there by the water
I can't
tower.
think of it, yeah, I
By
don't know why I can't think of it.
Snack
Snack
Jacks.
Jacks, yeah.
Snack Jacks.
I've been to a lot. Yeah, that was really good. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I think next door is pretty good. I really like Rockies though too.
Okay. Rockies
The
Pizzeria?
calzones are great, and it's like $8.50 for a calzone. You can't even finish it. I really like Rockies.
Okay, so I'm gonna start hitting everybody. It's like, you know,
If I had my dithers, if I could afford to go there more often, I would say the Flagler Fish Company.
I've been wanting to. I've never sat down inside there.
They are hands down, I think, my favorite restaurant if I could afford to go there more often.
Flagler food reviews coming up. Flagler Fish Company. We're going there. We're going there. We're doing it.
But I'm very happy with the variety of food that's here. Tuscany by the Sea is also very good Italian food, and I've never had a bad meal at the Golden Lion.
Yeah,
the Turtle
Golden Lion's
Shack.
fire.
Yeah, Oceanfront.
So you're more of a Flagler Beach diner then?
I am.
Let me ask you this about Flagler Fish Company.
Yeah.
What's something I should get when I go there? What should I get?
Whatever fish they have a special on, meaning special that it's caught at this time of the year. It's going to be fresh. I mean, I've never tasted seafood that was so fresh.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, it's amazing. It's different.
In case anybody doesn't know, also it's also a fish market as well.
It's also
as
a fish
restaurant.
market.
Yeah, I've gotten fish from there for people and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they also do alcohol pairing with the fish. They'll do beer pairing and wine pairing.
I'm gonna go there.
Yeah. Just save your pennies.
I'm gonna go there with my shorty. I like that. That's awesome. And I do like that they do have really good. Okay, this is another question. Do you think Flagler County has the best restaurants out of like Pumpko's, Bunnell, Hammock?
Oh, Flagler Beach, yeah.
Yeah, Flagler Beach has like, I think they're the best restaurants options.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Palm Coast is kind of like main chain spots like
Yeah.
Olive Garden, you know.
Yes, but you don't have to go to those.
Right.
See, you have the option. That's the thing that I will not do any chain.
I don't even know if they have chain spots in Flagler Beach.
No, 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
That's it. No,
That's
we're a very unique place.
So Dave, there was another question that you asked prior to, and trying to see if I can remember exactly what it was, but it had to do with Flagler County when you first came here. I'm gonna move that one to the side, but is there anything that you want to see come to Flagler County? Like, now I want to start asking people, what is a restaurant? So maybe other restaurants can be like, we want to be said to be, you know what I mean? Then also, like, what could Flagler County use? Like I said, over on West Palm Coast, which is what they're putting on the other side of US 1, put a Top Golf over there.
A Top Golf.
You know, one of those spots where they
simulated?
It's like an open field that
a driving range.
Yeah.
Well, we have that.
And they have different levels. Well, I mean, like a Top Golf, they play music, they have the TVs,
I see what you're saying.
They have the wings and the food and the beer, and it's a really nice spot, but you got to go to Jacksonville or you got to go to Orlando, and a lot of people love doing that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah. Well, one of the things that I do is I play senior softball, and you should go and watch these guys.
Yeah.
We've got guys in their 70s, 80s, and there are 2 guys in their 90s.
Do they drink beer and stuff on the dugout?
Afterwards.
Afterwards, okay.
Afterwards, yeah. Because they'll fall asleep running to first. But one thing I'd like to see is something along those lines, but a batting cage. Like I have to go to Port Orange to go to a batting cage to go and practice.
Yeah.
So something along those lines. But I think that I really wouldn't. I don't think that there's anything here that I need to have. I think it's all encompassed here what it is, and
so you don't want a mall.
No. I don't want a mall here. I don't want anything chain related. I don't want to see anything built over 3 stories. I came here for the quaintness, for the peace of mind. And again, you see what's happened to Daytona. It's congested. It's
Jeep week, bike week.
Oh man, it's horrible. I mean, again.
It's nice to have it there.
It's nice to have it there, but not here.
Yeah.
I
definitely feel you on that. This
is the only time I would say not in my backyard.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah.
That's kind of like another spot that's great about here because you can just go here or there and not have it here.
And that's what I like being about, like in the middle, because you can go to Daytona, you can go to St. Augustine,
Jacksonville, Orlando,
and you get your
all within 1 hour.
That's right.
Like the gas fill up, is that what that thing is?
What thing?
The
Florida
on a fill
up.
Like
whenever Kevin for Orlando or something like that. It was like Florida on a tank full. They did like
places that you could go and visit
in one tank full.
Yeah.
Where are you starting from the tank full?
Orlando.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, there's like an Orlando network that was doing that.
Awesome.
Yeah. But
oh man, they put Flagler County in there. Yeah, trust me, I definitely get here on the tank full. I live in Orlando right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I work out there. Just a lot of like opportunity out there for work. Because like we say out here, there's only so much you can do. You know what I mean?
Daytona and St. Augustine. There's a lot of folks from here do go, where the money is.
I'll also say this, like, as for Daytona and St. Augustine, I'm also like, I'm 35 and I'm single. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so they don't have really a younger population. The younger population goes like, I was living in Fort Lauderdale, but that's too far away. I'm not a huge South Florida fan. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. That's what you don't want to see here.
Right.
But Orlando, it's like when I was in South Florida, and in New York, people will commute an hour to work.
Sure.
That's normal.
That is normal.
You know what I mean? So this is like an hour and 5 minutes from where I live out there.
Okay.
So I come out here like on the weekends, they'll let me stay here. You know what I mean? But I definitely enjoy living out there. The quality of life for a younger person.
Got it.
You know what I mean? I got the Top Golf, I got the restaurants, I got the parks, I got the whatever, the clubs and everything like that. Mm-hmm. But I could definitely see I want to retire here,
Yeah, I got you. Mm-hmm. It all depends on your personal needs.
Definitely.
So that's part of the debate of Palm Coast. Is it a retired community? Is it not?
Mm-hmm.
Like we've had people come on and say it's not a retirement community, but I mean,
it's trying to not be. It's like I feel like it's like a Division III or Division II college team trying to go into Division I.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you just don't got it yet.
It's a nice place to retire. Mm-hmm. It's not a retirement community.
Mm.
Okay.
It's a community that's a nice place to retire to.
That's
but
it.
Yeah.
which is different than like a 55.
And up community.
Yeah, I never
Like
heard
the villages.
Yes, like the villages. See, but the villages is, again, it's an upscale area, and they have everything that you could think of, and more.
Yeah, they do. It's crazy over there.
I wonder, like, where all the younger, or the people who work at all the stores and everything that run the villages there. Because that's like what people talk about in Palm Coast and stuff is like, the average, the person that works at Walmart or wherever, they can't even afford to really stay here anymore.
Right.
And they, with the debate of do we need more housing, more businesses, I don't know the answer to that, but it's just an issue that people talk about. Because it is true that the average person that moves here is 55 and they buy their house cash.
Mm-hmm.
So, living here, as being from here, like we're kind of getting boxed out.
Yeah, they're like, "What move?"
yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the answer? I don't know.
It's all about balance. Right now, I know a ton of people that are going to Daytona and St. Augustine because that's where the money is for them, and it could be up to an hour and a half drive, but they have to do it because the area doesn't accommodate working. I mean, if you do work and if you can be a waiter or a bartender, you do fine. But there are only so many of those jobs that you can have. But now on 100, I don't know what's going there. Is it a Sam's Club or
BJ's?
Is it BJ's? So that's going to be a plus in terms of
somewhere for people to work.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like a shopping center.
Right.
So there's going to be like ale houses going there as well and stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah, it'd be like that.
I like Flagler County.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great place to live and grow a family. If, that's your thing, or just sit back, relax, and enjoy life.
I agree.
Well, DJ Audie. Well, let me ask you this. Where's the Audi? What is that?
Okay, my mom was in love with war movies back in the 50s. And there was a guy in World War II named Audie Murphy. He was the most decorated soldier in World War II. Hollywood was doing a lot of war movies, war-related movies, and they heard about what this guy had done. He single-handedly took down the Germans. It was like one of those things. When Hollywood wrote the script for the movie, they couldn't find the right personality to play his role. So they had him play his own self.
Wow.
Yeah, that was like, that's not heard of.
Right.
So he never acted before, but he took some lessons. He pulled it off, and he was good enough to be in B movies. So he was like the Elvis of movie stars. Very handsome, very debonair, very shy, very boyish looking, and in a Hispanic family, the first male is usually named after the dad. My dad's name is Victor. So he was hoping to have a boy. He found out he was having a boy. And my mom said, we're going to name him Audie, after Audie Murphy. He goes, I don't think so. She said, do you ever want to have sex again?
Hilarious.
Yeah. So Audie won out, and
She won.
so she won.
Oh, so your name is not Victor, it's Audie.
It's Audie, and my middle name is Victor after my dad.
Let's go, Dad.
Yeah. So
I feel you. I feel it. But that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I agree with that, though. Sorry.
Victor? You like
Yeah,
Victor?
no, well, I'm just saying, like, because I named my son
Dave.
Dave, yeah. Well, the third, actually, we're building up. Because my dad was drilling me from when I was a kid. He's like, no, you're going to name your son the third, right? Yeah. So I've already got him to commit
To the fourth.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything you want to promote before we get out of here?
Support local.
Awesome.
If you're going to be in a town like Flagler, support local. Attend the town meeting so that you can be up on stuff and network with other people, because you'll find that other people will enhance your life.
That's
Like
awesome.
you guys are doing with your podcast. You're
I appreciate
enhancing other
that.
people's lives.
Definitely.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
No problem. No problem.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much, and thank you for always supporting us. And
Hey.
we're going to continue to support you as well. Anything you got going on, if anything you want to get out to the world, let us know. You can come on whenever you want, man.
We'll do it. Thank
We
you.
appreciate you.
I
Definitely.
appreciate that a lot.
Thank you.
All right.
See you guys later.
Next.